The third piece is the offer piece. So we talk about like either offer or like content upgrade development. What makes a good offer? Like what's in a good offer?
The fact that you're asking that question is really important, because if you can't bring value in that offer, you're probably not going to get many downloads. You're probably not going to get many cookies on people's computers. So making sure that once you know what that content piece is, that you and your team are using a small focus group to figure out what it's called, where it brings value, how to get that quick and simple information, because that offer is going to live or die on your landing page. And the landing page is simply a page where you download it from. If you can't effectively communicate the features and benefits, no one's going to download it. Why would they?
Sure.
Right? Like ebook, buy it. I mean, ebook, download it. No. You know what I mean? That's why I even try to include video on there about the benefits. I think one of the other things you and I were, to our audience, Todd and I work out together before we come into work. We ride bikes and stuff like that. It's kind of fun, kind of nerdy at the same time. But we were talking about how I've been doing this for 19 years and I hate selling benefits and I love selling features. Like I'm like, it can do this and it can do this and it can do this. And you're like, I'm the exact opposite.
I'm more of a whiff 'em guy. Like what's in it for me? Yeah, definitely.
Buy from Todd. Don't buy from me. All right. What I mean by that is your landing page should be how you're going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So now I've said like, sorry, I didn't answer your question. I answered.
That's okay. You usually
very political answer. I answered the question I wish was asked. But what's going to bring value? I always think anybody who's willing to do research and knows their data, when you have data in your offer, I think that's wonderful.
Okay.
If you can connect your offer with a utility, and what I mean by that utility, a calculator or some sort of interactive tool that no one else has built, those are gold.
Yeah.
Like HubSpot has hundreds and hundreds of salespeople, and their website grader and their ROI calculator outsell all of them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then when we talk offer, we talk about PPPO.
Yeah.
Can you just break that down real quick for our audience?
Well, I mean, if you look at the story arc, we use we developed something called Story Guide, but we kind of borrowed it from this guy here. His name's Donald Miller. He wrote a best-selling book called Building a Story Brand. In that process, I recommend reading the book, but I also recommend using a team that knows how to implement it, and a team that implement it might sound like a company called Barrowtech. Just kidding. We spent a lot of time digging into this book, how to implement it, how to help companies do that. The power of story is going to be really important. It's why companies like Disney do what they do. You know what I mean? And from a young kid all the way to where you are now, the people that can tell the best stories usually win. And so what you have to start to think about is you start to think about that arc. Okay. And in that arc, you're usually we break it down into 4 letters. It's PPPO. The first one stands for pain. And what I mean by that is that you have to be able to empathize with your potential audience. You got to know where their pain is, and you have to make sure that what you're writing, that pain sounds like how they say it in their head. If you don't know the buzzwords of your industry and who you're selling to, you're dead. All right. Now the promise is essentially related to the pain and the fact that, you know what, you've got a problem and I'm here to solve it. And I'm going to cut through the noise and I'm going to solve it the way you think it should have been solved. Or I'm going to interrupt your pattern and say, you know what, the reason why you're not solving is because you've hit a wall and we're going to promise you a different approach. Now, the last one is proof. Why should they trust you? And so in this section, you're going to say, this is not our first rodeo. We've done this before. Here's case studies. Here's testimonials. Here's clients that we've done this for. And by the way, like, if you don't believe me, believe the data. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is where a lot of people screw up. The O means opportunity. And people say, contact us today. That's it. Everyone says that. And it's like, you know what? That's not how you want to close this thing. You know, I mean, I think that they say in the HubSpot world, like, you don't want to be in a scenario where, you know, they downloaded an offer that's at the top of your funnel and, you know, you're telling them to buy right away. Like, they're not there yet. You know what I mean? They talk about it like, you know, like trying to ask a girl to marry you after the first date. Like,
Yeah,
that's weird.
it happens, but not.
Yeah.
When you know, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Took me about a year and a half and heavy bribery.
Well, for the first date.
I'm really hoping my wife hasn't heard this.